All right, we're back with the SRP, the SCAV Report Podcast. How's everything going, James? How are you feeling today, bud? How you feeling?
It's a rough day. I had a great plan last night to have some fun in the game, and then all my friends decided to just shit on my entire idea.
While having fun in the game. We made it our own fun.
I mean, did you?
Yeah.
You made it your own fun just by refusing to do.
I got a good YouTube short out of it. I ended up collecting a bunch of little some gear that I needed. I got a couple flash drives. What else? I
had some levels. I did find some tier 6 armor that my teammate shot me next raid on.
I won a hatchet fight against a teammate. You say we shat on your idea, but we joined you and we played it for over 2 hours almost.
No, we gave it the freshman college try.
And it was
as a group.
We were all getting the hang of it, and I think everybody was enjoying themselves a little too much.
No, it was fun. It was fun. I was I was annoyed at how just everyone wanted you did it because that was my idea, but everyone just bitched about it the whole time. So it was if we're just gonna bitch about it the whole time, then let's just play normal.
But I think that's part of the group.
Is it?
Yeah, it's bitch about James's ideas.
Yeah, that's it.
But it's not that we don't like your ideas. It's that our fun is bitching about your ideas. That's fun for us. So we're having fun.
Yeah.
And then we let you play the game type that you want to play. And it's not an easy game type to play, especially when there was we currently had the rogue event still going on. So
it's fine that none of you guys were good enough to do it. I understand.
No,
you guys could have just led with that.
I'm not. I don't think we could ever. Why don't you explain what the challenge is?
The challenge is to start at the top of the map and work our way all the way down like a line. So start interchange, the customs, woods, factory, and you have to escape each place, but it can't be a run through. So you got to be in there for 7 minutes. You get your XP, whatever you need. And in between raids, you can't go back to your stash. You can't heal. You can't do anything. And we only start with a knife on the first one. The first raid we went into, it's like every other raid that we go into, our buddy just ran off on his own into the building. Okay, great. So he died. Now, the trick is if anybody in the squad dies, we all have to start over. So the first one was a disaster. Everyone just split their own ways. The second one, we did better. But the guy that normally runs away was so hell-bent on just trying to escape, he all of a sudden now didn't want to go inside, even though we all had guns at this point. We all were starting to gear up. So then we go to customs. We have no meds. We have no food. We have no water.
So where did you get this idea from?
I think it's. I don't want to get it wrong because I don't want to lose credit for him. He makes Tarkov. He calls them movies. Okay. I believe it's Swamp Fox.
So here's
Swamp
what
Fox TV.
This is where I'm going. Listen, hold on before you.
Let me finish. Let me finish. I know it's your podcast. I'm taking over. The way they do it is they do it. They go into the first one completely geared up. So I was trying to take the whole hardcore idea.
So here's what I want to bring to this. So one, you're taking someone that is making somewhat of a living off of playing Escape from Tarkov.
Yes, I understand.
Who came up with an idea, who's probably played multiple wipes of this game. And then you remove a key element from it to make it harder for two guys that have only been playing for a couple of months and two guys that have only been playing for a couple of weeks and expected it to go well.
No, it's not that I expected it to go well.
So you changed everything about it.
At least try.
We tried.
Yeah, I don't want to take his full idea. He's already done it. I'm trying to do something I haven't seen done.
All of us were smart enough to know none of us were good enough at that time to even make this worthwhile. So we went in there and had as much fun as we could. I hatcheted like 9 people. It was fun.
And I also said, if you guys don't think we can do it, or even really going to try seriously, then let's just not do it.
But like, why? The whole point of that was like, okay, let's run in there. Let's see what we can do. And it's like, you know what? Probably there. I'm playing hardcore series. I should not be playing hardcore. I shouldn't. I should be working on my other stuff, and it's fun, but I'm not going in there with this false reality of like, I'm going to be able to pull this off. And if everybody's not taking it super seriously,
it's not.
I don't even want to do it.
So listen,
I don't even want to do it.
I've watched your hardcore series, right? I've watched you do it. You took that a lot slower.
Yeah. I'm by myself for one.
No, but we still have to act this. You still have to.
I don't know. I went and got the weapons. I hit the caches that I knew I needed to hit. I knew I had to go inside in order to get some gun from there. I killed a bunch of people with a hatchet. I was never the first one dead. Now I dropped a player. I dropped our own teammate with a wonderful shot, which if you haven't seen, go check out the short from it because it was a great shot. And granted, he wasn't communicating with where he was at all, so I figured you were all behind me still. But anyway, so it's just like you're gonna take a game mode designed to challenge.
All I said is that I'm bitter.
Now I'm fine if we want to try that with the fully kitted and pass it with the way someone else has done it before, and then we go, okay, we did that. Now let's go for the next step so we get the feel of what we need to do with the first one. But you're just like, no, I'm going in with a hatchet because I got this. Like, come on, man. You're not going to change. Like, I'm not changing the hardcore rules that Pestily set because I'm not Pestily. I can't change his rules yet.
Okay.
So once I can do what he can do, then I can be like, okay, I'm going to do my own.
Hey, but no one was like, hey, let's just do it the other way.
No, I didn't actually know the other way existed. I didn't know.
Listen, it's a podcast. We're trying to talk about other stuff, so I'm not going to get into the fact that I told you the rules. I told you they came from a different person. I said they do it this way. I would like to do it this way.
You told me
you were like, your actual text says, sounds cool. I even said, this is how it's done, but I think we should do it this way. And you said, yeah, that sounds really cool.
No. I didn't think you were going to bring me into it. I thought this was your own.
I
misread the. Honestly, I misread the text.
Okay, then that's not my fault, though.
No, it's not. It's not. I misread the text because
you can see why I'm like, okay, I don't really understand what's.
I'm muting you. You're muted now. No one can hear you. So I'm going to continue to talk with you on mute. I did not understand, and I thought you wanted to do a hardcore series kind of the way that I was doing it, and this was going to be your own content. You're off of mute. Go ahead. You're muted. No one heard any of that. You went on mute. I have control now.
I'm good. I'm good.
Anyway, so we had
this world. We're just trying to live in it.
It's my world. Yeah, you gave me control. You said be the host and take control. I got control of all of it now, bud.
Hey, what goes around comes around. I can't wait till the other podcast.
Hey, that's fine. You're going to be asking me how to control it, so I'll still have control of that one. Anyway, so events. We got a lot of events going on right now.
Yeah.
We kind of mentioned it there when we were talking about the Rogue event that happened. I have a YouTube video out there on kind of like the details behind it, but basically we got some new lore around the game that the new SCAV bosses, so Knight, Big Pipe, and I'm missing one of them. I can't think of his name, the sniper guy. Can't think of his name. So anyway, so they are searching the maps for a phone. For some phone, and they went to Shoreline, they went to Woods, and they went to Customs. So you had rogues popping up on all of those maps at a 30% chance. So if you ran 10 of them, you're probably going to see them 3 times. I ran into them once with Shadow, and that didn't end too well for Shadow but it was like, so kind of what happened was we were in woods. We're at the top of woods. We're going into the SCAV camp at the top of woods, and that's where they were at. So they're in the SCAV camp and the USEC camp that's right there in the top of woods, and we're going over, and I'm like, oh, 2 PMCs, because they're kitted like players.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
They don't have normal SCAV gear on. So I go like, okay, 2 PMCs up top, and we go up. Now, if you haven't fought rogues, or you don't know about rogues, or you haven't gone to Lighthouse, because that's the map they're normally on is Lighthouse. These guys are like legit aimbots. So they see a piece of your head or anything, and they're taking it off, and they're using top end guns and top end ammunition. So you can't peek them too fast, or you have to have some general tactics. So we're running up the hill thinking we're going up against 2 normal players, which you kind of have some more leeway with. And yeah, I go up the hill and I hear them start yelling, but it's not in Russian, it's in English. I'm like, oh shit, it's the rogues. And I drop down, Shadow pops his head up, boom, they just take the top of his head right off. I ended up dropping 3 of them. I got the 3 that were up there. And then a player ended up coming behind me because it made so much noise in there. A player came up behind me and killed me. So the rogue event didn't end too well. We only saw it a couple of times. It was kind of interesting because we definitely saw a lot more action on maps that normally don't have a lot of PvP, like woods and customs. Well, customs has it, but we had a lot of people on customs and woods, especially woods.
It was definitely more active than it had been, for sure. At least in our time of playing.
Yeah, I kind of like that, especially with woods. Like, I like the woods map, and PvP on there is fun. You know, I do enjoy doing that. So we had those.
It is hard to see people, though.
It is.
If you have some colorblind issues, like some of us on our squad do.
Yeah. It becomes hard to see them, but I think the nice part about that map is, since it is hard to see people, you still have a chance to get away. So like when you start getting beamed, it's not like you're getting just destroyed across the map and you're gonna just you can actually get like to cover and heal, or you just lay down in the grass and no one can see you. You just kind of disappear.
Yeah.
So with that event kind of came and went, and then we got kind of this new event. Like, it's not really an event. I don't really know what to call it.
You talking about the trader sale?
So the trader sale. So basically, we got some more lore. There's a video on we got a video on the BSG Twitter of basically this guy named Rigi. So Rigi has been going throughout, and he's kind of just causing havoc, stealing stuff from people, and he was caught by the raiders trying to sell stuff to the rogues. And that was back in the event where Tagilla and Killa were both on customs. They were both on interchange. They both went to interchange because they left, and that when all the raiders were in factory because they were looking for Rigi. And Rigi got captured, and he ended up getting away. Then he went to Lighthouse, and he pissed off the Lighthouse Keeper, which started the Lighthouse Keeper getting mad and all the traders going away. So Rigi's like starting all of this problem. And we think Rigi is the red scav. So like if you go back to the Lighthouse stuff, we think he's the red scav, and I believe there's some lore that like really says he is the red scav now. But anyway, we move forward. We get the rogue event saying they're looking for a phone. The rogue event ends and they leave. And then we get this film, and this was kind of cool. I did like the way BSG did this. It was an actual video of someone walking through woods. It wasn't like they made it in the game.
Yeah,
it was a real video. And go ahead.
It was different to see that. The problem is, for me, I only saw it once today, and it was all in Russian, so I have no idea.
So it's all in Russian. So like you're watching and you're like, okay, this is kind of cool, but I have no idea what is going on. So I went back to the Twitter page, and I want to get his name right because he helps out the community a lot. So I will look it up here. But one of the players in the community translates a lot of these for all of us, and he translated it, and basically what it was saying is, I'm gonna pull up here, and it was Bakesy. Bakesy is the one that translates it for us, so shout out to I am Bakesy. He translated it, and basically, I'm not gonna read the whole thing, but said, "Hey, I found this phone." So Ridgey's got the phone. Somehow, all these raiders out there, they can't find it, but Ridgey's got it. Shocking. And it's got all of this info on it, like messages, contacts, notes. I think the rogues would be interested in this, and I can get some money from it. So he's looking to get some money. He said, if you don't hear back from me in 48 hours, FYI, that's 2 days. So I guess people don't know 48 hours equals 2 days. That's kind of funny that they put that in there.
They're trying to make sure, you know.
He's going to release the information. But the weird thing is he said, like, take all my stuff and items and give it to Therapist.
Yeah.
So somehow Therapist is going to be involved with this. But in 2 days, I'm assuming in 2 days, Ridgey's gonna sell this information to the rogues, or he's gonna die, and then like the information's gonna be left out. Now, you see him walking through woods, and I'm assuming it's the woods map we're talking about there. But if he's going to try to sell it to the rogues, and the rogues have left all the maps, that means he's got to be going back to Lighthouse, because Lighthouse is where the rogues are at. So he's heading back to Lighthouse, but we know the Lighthouse Keeper is there, and he has some weird tie to the cultists. So there's going to be this weird thing happening on Lighthouse, which I think gets us to where we end up having the Lighthouse expansion. Maybe. Maybe not. Yeah. We wipe. The other thing that we got today was the 30% off event. We kind of mentioned it before, but that came with a note that they sent out, and that basically that note said it's PMC. It says PMCs only, and this one was in English. Like, I was kind of surprised that this letter was in English. It's normally not. So it was like PMCs only. Everyone got together, so all the traders got together and talked about all of Lightkeeper's things they did and how he extorted all this money from you. So we're going to give you 30% off everything. And the other thing that they did is they also are now giving you really cheap barters for labs keys to go into labs and run labs. So this all feels like we're leading up to a wipe. And I say that, and neither one of us is wiped, based off of history we've heard from other people.
Yeah, that's what I've been saying to you today. It seems like all these like crazy things are happening in the last couple of weeks. And based on listening, whether it's the podcast or whatever, you know, other things we listen to, other streamers, I've gone back and watched their old videos and kind of binge watched some of their stuff. These things always seem to be when all this stuff starts happening, shortly after there's a wipe.
Yeah, and it seemed to go in kind of the same order. It was like rogues are everywhere, raiders are everywhere, and then gear gets super cheap. And then because we're also got a bunch of different barters. I haven't gone through it all. I've been seeing tweets go out throughout the day of saying like new barters are popping up. I went through and bought like maxed out on a ton of stuff. Like I bought all the guns that I use. I bought like 10 AKMs. I bought a bunch of stuff that was in there. I bought all of the suppressors that I have. Like I filled my stash up. But one thing I did notice is that level 3 traders, I don't have level 4 traders, but level 3 traders, most of the armor I use is barters. So like I couldn't just buy it. I had to go buy the items for the barters. But there was one thing interesting. So like the labs keys. So I was going to go barter for some lab keys. And you know the Slickers candy they have? So the Slickers candy normally...
The Snickers.
Yeah, the Snickers. They call it Slickers. Normally that's like $15K on the flea market. Dude, when that barter came out, within 10 minutes, it was up to like $70K.
Wow.
It skyrocketed in price to be able to do that barter. So if anybody's listening and there's this event still going on when this comes out, sell your Slickers, man. I'm going out to Woods, and I'm gonna start checking for like food and stuff, because
I think I've got like 10 of them in my stash.
Yeah, sell them now, man. It's crazy because you're getting crazy prices for it. But this is like the feeling of a wipe that everyone's kind of telling us. Gear gets cheap. Yeah. People have a bunch of gear. You're farming raiders and stuff and rogues to get better ammo. And just you're getting event after event after event, and then boof, wipe comes. So that brings us to our like main-ish topic today, of like, do you feel like you're ready for a wipe?
Here's what I find interesting in there. Of course, when you start playing a game, watching a team, do whatever, one of the first things it seems to happen now is you start deep diving down Twitter. So now I'm more involved in this game. We started this podcast. You do the SCAV Report news videos. I'm trying to pump out some content as well. So you start deep diving down Twitter. And of course, you have your negative Nancy's and your people that are like, just give it a chance, give it a chance. All this stuff that Nikita's been changing about the game in the last couple of weeks. But it seems to be more people that are newer like us, maybe that's only their second wipe or their first time going to be wiping as well, don't want it to wipe, and they're pissed off, and they keep talking about how this game is stupid. I don't want to play this game because I put all this time into it. Now my progress is just getting wiped. What a stupid game. Like, now I have to start over. I don't want to start over. I put hundreds of hours into it. And for me, it's kind of funny. I'm like the complete opposite. I'm like, okay, cool. Now I kind of know how the game works. Of course, I'm still only played like 4 maps, but I get a couple hundred hours into it. I know how it works. I'm excited for a wipe. And when I talk to our 2 buddies, Shadow and Wright that play, they're also excited for a wipe, which is even more interesting because they've only played for 2 weeks. One of them's level 16, one of them's level 10. And it's the same concept. They like the idea. Now, for those that are console players, you may have heard of the game Vigor. A lot of people refer to it as like the Tarkov for consoles, for Xbox and PlayStation. I played the crap out of it. And I will say, when I got to the end game, when I got done upgrading my hideout, when I got done getting everything that I could get, now I can just buy anything that I want. Whenever I want, I can just pick whichever gun I want. There's like things to upgrade, but not cosmetically. Nothing looks different. The game is boring. I don't really have any incentive to keep out and going better. I wish that I could restart.
So that's kind of where I was going with this. It's like, so I actually heard this today whiching Jesse Kazam's stream today while I was working. I had a stream on, and he basically said looter royales. Like extract looter royales is what he was calling it.
That's what he's referring to.
He's referring to it. And I was like, that's a great way to refer to it. It's it's an extract looter royale. It depends on the wipe. Like, I really do feel like this game style 100% depends on the restart. Because if you never do that, exactly like what you said, the end game isn't interesting, and there's nothing left unless you continue to have the ability to add more and more content to it, more quests. And if you really think about like games that do that well, they're not these kind of royale shooter games. They're World of Warcraft, but people don't realize in World of Warcraft, every expansion you technically restart, because you have to level your character up to the new max level. So they don't kick you back to 0, but they make you go from level 50 to 60.
Yeah, that's how for people that didn't play stuff like that, newer stuff like Destiny is a great example.
Yeah,
it kind of does the same thing, but I'll never forget the first time they were like going to add this major expansion in Destiny 1, and they were talking about your guns weren't going to be powerful enough going into year 2, and people lost their mind, and they backtracked on it. And what's happening, it's the same, is they always keep pandering to the majority, the loud Twitter majority, that they want to be able to use their old stuff that they spent hundreds of hours getting, grinding. They want to be so you're always able to use your old stuff. It never makes the new stuff feel special, to be honest.
No, and I'm actually kind of in the middle. The only reason is I don't think for a brand new player like we were when we came in the middle of the wipe. So coming in at the middle of the wipe, I think made the progression a little bit harder in questing, because I'm down to where it's like I got to kill a lot of PMCs, and it's like it gets kind of tough because a lot of guys are chatted out now, and you're just not getting easy PvP or the progress that I thought I would. And I really wanted to get to max traders. Like that was my goal. Like if I can get to max traders level 42 or 43, and max out those traders, like I would have felt successful in this first run. Well, I had to kind of backtrack that a little bit and be like, okay, hey, I don't think I'm going to make it there, only because you
just can't.
I just don't think I can. I don't think there's enough hours until the wipe happens. Like I would need more hours as a new player to get there. So I was a little bit upset with that, but I backtracked and, I started the hardcore challenge for myself. And that's kind of what I'm saying is like, yeah, I could continue to go out there and run the same thing over and over and over again and grind these quests out. But the other part of me wanted to go back to like, okay, what did it feel like to have nothing again, but to have nothing with knowledge?
Yeah.
And then now you have nothing with knowledge and you're coming through. Like there was nothing as exciting. And I was giving you a hard time in the morning, but nothing as was exciting as like I dropped 3 PMCs in my hardcore. Like one was a level 60, one was a level 25, and then one was another level 7, which is like, okay, the 7's not that bad, but dropping a level 60 as a level 4 hardcore run, like I was like, okay, exactly. I'm starting to understand this game now. Like I get what I'm doing, and I get like my confidence gets to grow when you go back to that like basic side of the game.
Yeah, and I think that one of the biggest issues is that I mean, look at the hardcore, the permadeath modes, all these things that people are coming up with. It's because the people are getting to the end of the game and they're already bored. So that's how these things spawned, right? That's how they came about. It's because there's nothing to do. So imagine if there never was a wipe. And these guys, Pesley, some of these guys have been playing since the very beginning. I don't know all of them, so I'm sorry if I'm not shouting out everyone properly. But what would they even be doing?
That's where the game developers would have to. So I think where we're at is we're in a beta. And I hate coming back to this, but we keep coming back to the whole point of
they make sure everyone knows it's in a beta. They keep reminding everyone.
But I think you have to look at it as a beta, and I think the wipes in this game are because the developers haven't finished the game to figure out how to work on the end content. So you don't have consistent patches coming out that give you like the Lighthouse expansion. So but then you're going to have like, okay, level, and I don't think Tarkov wants this unless you do the wipe. Like, let's think about like, you're going to start getting zones, and in World of Warcraft, you have zones, and in zone 1, and that's not what they call them, but they have names of them, but let's just say zone 1, levels 1 to 12 live in zone 1. So you only play in zone 1 and quest in zone 1. When you get out of that zone, you go to the next one and the next one and the next one.
And then that part sucks though, because then you can never go back to these other areas. You never
go back. And that's like,
it's a dumb.
If you don't wipe, you don't have the ability for everyone to enjoy every single map that you have, because let's say they brought out the Lighthouse expansion. Well, the Lighthouse expansion is not going to be fun for a level 15 if only level like 90, or I don't even think they're even there, but level 60s are running around, which is what's going to happen if they launch that without a wipe.
Yeah.
You're just going to have a bunch of people out there farming it super fast. So I really think the content of this game requires the wipe, and it's part of the community. Just know you're going to, and that's the other part I don't get is like, what are you holding on to?
Yeah.
What can't you make back super easy?
I think the wipe is fun because you can challenge yourself. Okay, last time I made it this far this quickly. Like this time I'm going to try to make it even further. This time I'm going to try it this way. maybe I don't want to start at customs like everyone says I should. Maybe I want to start on interchange or woods first because maybe that's the route to take. It just are you? What are they? So do you think that wiping is always going to be a part of? That's what the game will always be, or when they release streets and all these things that they have been promising everyone for years and years and years, is it going to be a continuous open world game?
I think,
and if it is, do you like that idea?
The game, this Tarkov will never get to a continuous open world game, and the reason why I say that is they would have to change the underlying architecture of the game. Like they would have to switch to, their rival Unreal, engine. Like they would have to really change the game to be open world. You're just coming in and out. And I know that's where like Nikita talks about getting to, but we are way away from that. Now you might have a time period where it's not open world. Like when I think of open world, I think of, GTA. Like that's the first game that comes into mind of like real open world. The first real open world game where you could go anywhere at any time because the entire map loads for you right off the bat. That game was 2 discs large. It was like the first double disc game on Xbox or Xbox 360. So like it's a huge game. One of them is just to install the game onto it.
Yeah, it's
the
like
other
the
one's
Final
to play
Fantasy
off
games.
Of. Yeah, it's huge. But what you end up running into is I think you're going to have like zoning, where you take, let's say we take the path to Lighthouse. So you're on shores and you have path to Lighthouse. Okay. You're going to pat all the way up there, but then you're going to zone into Lighthouse. But here's the problem. If I'm in an open world game and I know people are always going to come through this thing, I'm just going to sit at that where they come in and just light them up when they spawn in. So how do you fix the spawning issue? How do you fix the camping issue that you're going to get? How do you fix all of those different, like there's so many questions here on how the mechanics of the game are going to run. And they're still trying to figure out things like, let's launch the next streets map. Let's launch we're not there yet. We're multiple years away unless they have a development team that they're just not telling us about. That's only working on something much bigger, and it's a different project. It's not Escape from Tarkov. It's another game. So I don't think we see that, but I do think we see a world that is reliant on the wipe. Because I just think that's its reset mechanism, and that's part of the game. The whole thing is like, I never know when it's going to restart. And I want to get to endgame. Like I want to get Kappa. I think they need more of those type of like achievement things. So like, it's kind of like when you go through and call it, this is a bad example, but everyone plays Call of Duty. Everyone's probably picked up Call of Duty that listens to this. It's like having the prestige badges and having every year's prestige badge. Like
it's just a race to get to the end.
Yeah. I prided myself on like, I'm going to get that prestige badge for that season. And then when the new season comes around, I completely start over. I see them changing the name of Wipe into Season. And every time you have a new season, you do that. And seasons come out with new expansions, which would be, here's a new map, here's a new level, here's new mechanics that we're going to throw into. Here's a new set of AI bosses that you're going to have to fight.
But do you get something that shows a reward that you finish that season?
Yeah, I think like they have the armbands that are in game right now, so like exclusive
armbands.
Seasons
so now are we talking microtransactions? Does seasons come with a battle pass?
No,
the whole 9 yards
I don't think you would need
doing?
that. Like I think it's all about grind in the game. Like you have to, like, let's say like a Red Rebel or something like that. One of the knives that you can get. Like if you get
okay, but let's be realistic for a second. Now, before we move on, because I want to bring up something to you. I know we didn't plan. You're excited for a wipe just like me, correct? We're on the same page.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's just popped up because I was like, okay, you're talking seasons now. That is that battle pass and all these things, and you're saying no. My question to you is: games like this don't survive if they're not still making money. How does this game keep making money?
The game continues to keep making money by by them listening to their community and having people continue to stream and talk about it. Because it makes their money based off of new players buying the game. This isn't free to play. So like that's the part, is all of your games that are really around microtransactions are mostly free to play games. There are a few out there that you have to buy.
But this is you're talking about a game that's going to continuously add content.
Yeah. You're going to have to find a way in order to continuously grow your player base. I don't know if you can get away from the full on microtransaction, but here's how you don't destroy the game in the microtransaction. Make it all cosmetic.
I'll keep it. Yeah. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. We bought, what's it called? The Edge of Darkness version.
Yeah.
Doesn't that say in there we don't pay for any future expansions? But all the other versions that you could buy, you could have to pay for DLC expansions.
I don't know what level you have to get there to do it. I'd have to look at it.
But the basic one,
I don't know. I didn't read it. I'm not sure.
So that could be a way.
It could be a way. But I also think you can not destroy a game by making your microtransactions or your season pass cosmetic. Like the one thing that this game doesn't have is really good customization of your character.
Yeah, but I mean, you go down that road, and like I said, I'm a big PUBG fan. I know you hate the game, but that game looked pretty realistic. And now you got people running around in reindeer costumes and bunny costumes.
I'm not saying that it's not a ridiculous thing. I'm saying how do they monetize the game if they wanted to? Well, they would be able to do cosmetic microtransactions and not change the internals of the game.
Correct.
Like, that's the only way that you would be able to do
risk
that.
Making the game look dumb.
Sure, I don't doubt you risk that, but your other way of monetizing the game is to continue to get the game in the hands of your top end influencers and get them to bring new people to the game. And then you do it off of selling the game, like everyone else had to do in the past.
All I'm saying, I don't know what Jesse Kazam's been doing this last couple of months, but I brought 3 people to this game. Okay.
So I'm sure he's brought more than you. But there's also there's a lot of there could be a lot of things. So here's another thing you could do. This is stupid, but you could do it. Sell sponsorships inside your game. Put a Coke logo in the middle of the game. Have an exclusive thing. Like if you really wanted to, you could do that. Like they could go out and be like, hey, you know what? We have this Snickers. Hey, Snickers, you want us to actually use yours in the game? Hey, you want to sponsor us here? Like, sure. They have no reason to want that. They're not going to struggle, but you could do things like that and just have sponsorship deals inside of your game.
Agreed. Yeah.
Could also require people to watch an ad before they play the game. Like, there's a lot of crappy things you could do.
Listen, we're just going to stop. Here's what we're going to do. Let's move on to another topic before you give anyone an idea.
You asked for monetization concepts. This is the way you could monetize it. Like, I'm not saying they're good. I'm just saying they're ways.
You're coming up with ideas that I can see the industry going to. Well, I just don't want the industry to go to.
No, I don't either. But I mean, hang on. It's going to happen. What's your topic? You said you had a topic that we weren't going to do.
No, I said just whatever it is. So let's just leave this one.
Well, I think we have one more thing that we can talk about here today. I wanted to leave it for a different podcast, but I just don't think we're going to have time. You know, we're here now. We might as well talk about it. And it's a pretty big deal, and I think it's the most polarizing thing I've seen yet in Tarkov for the community. And if you're not familiar with it, I can give you a little bit of background. So we just got a patch for Escape from Tarkov. They fixed a bunch of client end and server end things that they needed to do. Again, go to the SCAV Report YouTube channel to watch the video if you want that side of it. That's kind of the boring side. The interesting side is they added a feature to the game that is designed around fighting what we call as RMT. And RMT, if you're not familiar with it or never played a game where this actually affected the game, is what's called real money trade. So there are people out there and websites out there and that will actually have you pay them real money, real dollar bills to level their character, so boost their character in the game, or give you different items inside of the game. Such as in this game, high-end items, LEDXs, graphics cards, all these stuff that you would need to fill your hideout, rubles, US dollars, whatever you would want. You pay them $15 and you get 10 graphics cards.
Yeah.
So this is a thing that they fight. The reason why you fight this is most of the players that are doing this are running your hacks and your cheats because they can't die in this game. So in order to get all of this gear and loot out they need to sell to somebody, they have to survive. So they use cheats to make sure they survive. There has been cheats in this game that I have never even heard of before. I've heard of walls and aimbots, but I didn't even know you had cheats where you could tell what gear was inside someone's backpack, what gear was already inside each. I mean, you see it when on the loading screen, like loading loot. So it already knows where all the loot's going to be on the game, but this game pulls that loot file, the cheat pulls the loot file out and lets them know, oh, that's over there, this is over there, pick them up, you have all this loot on there, and they go out and get it.
And you can really tell when a hacker runs by you to get to someone else in your squad because they've got better gear.
Yeah, we saw it happen. Like Shadow and I saw it happen. Like a guy literally ran past me and shot and killed him because he had a graphics card, and he head naped him in one shot and stole his graphics card and rolled on. There was nothing you could do about it. So you have this real money trade. So in order to fix this problem, BSG decided that the best way they could go about it currently, and I'm going to preface that currently because they could change it, they could do different things, but currently is to not allow you to drop items, specific items, barter items, rubles. I don't have the whole list up. I wish I did. I didn't actually think we were going to get into this, but I wanted to go there. On the ground. So if you take it out of raid, you bring it back into raid, you lose what's called found in raid status of the item. Yeah. So if it's no longer found in raid status, you cannot drop it to anybody. You can't drop it on the ground. You can't give it away. Which I was under the impression that most of the real money trading was going through the flea market. But as you say, went down the rabbit hole of Twitter and started researching it, it seems like that's why we only have 2 slots in the flea market now. So you can only sell 2 things at a time or 2 bundles at a time. Yeah, was to combat that trade in there. So they've already started trying to do that with the flea market, and now they're going to try to do it in game. This set off a firestorm.
Yeah, it's
a firestorm.
Like, I thought that the negativity about the event that was happening was bad, but no, this was like people really freaking out about this.
You're talking about the no trader.
Yeah. The no trader event. People were upset. Oh, you're ruining the game. Like, this was a whole nother level. This was like you're doing something. You're shortcutting. You're trying to combat cheaters, which I would say is what, a 5 to 10% of the player base at most. Let's try to be realistic with it.
I'm probably not even that high.
I mean, maybe it might not be that high. We have no idea, but that's what it seems like on Twitter, right? They're saying whether it's 2%, 5%, 10%, but the 90+% that plays the game legit, it's affecting them more than it's affecting. That's there. They're saying I can't even play the game how I've been playing the game for years.
So you're punishing the masses for the action of the few. Like that's always seems to be.
So it seems like it's just the shortcut way of trying to combat cheaters instead of doing it properly.
So I guess my question is like, where do you stand on this? How do you feel about the way they went about it? Because I know you have a very distinct point of view on it, and I would I'd like to hear it. I think the people want to hear it.
Oh, I don't know. Okay, when you first told me about it, honestly, I was like, yeah, sweet, whatever. Like I play Tarkov because I genuinely enjoy grinding out the game, taking my time, going to get the items. Sometimes I feel cheated by just being able to either just buy it or just you give it to me. So if I'm like, oh, I need X, Y, and Z to build this thing. Yeah, so, but it's kind of like, if I can shortcut all of that every time, why am I even going in the raids? Why am I even looting? If I can shortcut all of those things throughout the whole game, now the only thing I'm doing the game for is to go in and try to kill people. I can go play Rebirth Island on Call of Duty if that's what I want to do. I can just play multiplayer, or they're supposedly going to add an arena mode, right? So, to me, I enjoy that. Now, I understand, like you said, some people don't have as much time. I don't even have as much time, but I'm still slowly grinding my way through. But I enjoy it that way. I think that's the way the game's meant to be played. I think that's the way they intended it to be played. So this thing doesn't bother me. You brought up a couple of good points. One of them is you try to get your buddy involved in the game, especially as we're getting close. It seems like we're getting close to wipe. So you try to shortcut them a little bit just so they can make sure that they like the game. Maybe they're not as patient as me. Most people don't seem to be. And they need that extra, push to really understand what the game is. Or the only thing that gave me pause and made me would be upset is you talked about, okay, if somebody takes these items out of raid and then brings them back in raid, maybe they have them in their pouch, their protective case. And then maybe by shuffling things around, they have to take it out. But now it doesn't have that in-raid check mark. But I kill those people, and now I can't loot them for keys. I can't loot them for stuff that they may have that I can take. That part does seem weird if that's how it works.
It's exactly how it works.
Yeah, so that part would be super frustrating to miss out on something because they made a mistake, but now they know it just disappears. So they lose it, but I also can't get it. So I don't know. Like I said, it doesn't bother me as much as I think everyone else. I mean, we played last night the way that we played, and then we played a little bit after. It didn't change anything the way that we were all playing.
We didn't have any gear anyway.
No, but we played a little bit after.
Yeah,
people were trying to do some tasks.
I agree with you. I was.
And again, here's my. I want to leave you with this. Again, I'm going back to everything that I've read or heard on past wipes. All this crazy crap always seems to happen right before a wipe. Why don't everyone just calm the fuck down for a second? Let this play out for a couple of weeks. See if we wipe. See if it keeps going. See if they adjust it. Man, Jesus, give them a chance to see how they're going to implement it. I know it's always a cover your ass statement that we're going to make changes as we go, but since I have been playing anyways, they've always been kind of making changes for better or for worse. It's to each their own, but they're always doing something. So maybe we just wait for a week, see what happens. But no, these people were jumping on it before they even people were jumping on Nikita and Battlestate Games on Twitter before they even got home to turn on the damn game. And that to me is stupid.
I think you got to take a look at, when you make fundamental changes to the way the game is played.
You mean a beta?
It doesn't matter if it's beta or not. When you're making fundamental changes to the way the game is played, with very little transparency that Battlestate Games has. So it wasn't like I know they were testing this on some of their test realms. Like we found that out. But it wasn't like people had the opportunity to give their feedback until this launched. And I think you kind of bottleneck everything into hey, we're the beta realm here. And it's like, we're going to do testing here. It's like, no, you don't. You do testing over in your alpha, and then you launch it over here when you're ready for it to be your full game. Like, let's call it what it is right now, Fortnite. You're flipping flopping on the beta. Now, they are not as polished as like Fortnite was when they were still in the beta, and they're not trying. I don't believe they're trying to get around all the taxes and stuff like that Fortnite was doing. But I was very opinionated on this in the beginning, where I was upset with exactly what you said.
Change my mind.
Exactly what you said there is like, it hurts community play. And that's what I don't like about the change, is that if I want to, let's say I'm a streamer. One of the cool things to be able to do is to play with your community. So I get to put in a bunch more hours than my community gives. And if someone wins a competition that I have and I want to drop them a sick case, which are really hard to come by, I can't do that now. So I can't help my community out. If I want to play raids with like all three of us, we said it last night. We only have one labs card. Like, well, all of us can't go. Or if I had 5 labs cards, I could drop each one of you one of them and we could all go. I can't do that now. Now, if you're giving me some, and you can't even give another way of doing it. I was actually going to think through that process, but it didn't work there. Like, you can't even have a backdoor way of, like, if I know this person, we both accept it, but then you're just giving the real money traders another way of doing it. Mm-hmm. So there's no other way other than, like, hey, you're just not going to be able to drop these things in item. You're not going to have this community feature that you had. And Twitter was really going back and forth. Some people were like, well, how often do you actually drop things to people? And I thought about it. I was thinking, like, well, not often. But now that we have new players coming on, like, I kind of think about it a lot of, like, hey, what's in my stash that I could give to Rider Master that's going to help them, build out their hideout faster? Or, like, hey, I've got 2 of these keys and I happen to have left the raid with them because, like, I have one key that I accidentally grabbed the wrong one. It had a use, so I used them both in raid, and now I have 2 machinery keys. I can't give one to him to use. He has to go find it in raid. So, like, stuff like that, it's just like, I don't understand why that would leave the game. Now, I thought about it for a couple of days, and here's what I would like Battle State to do. Be transparent about how you feel hackers are utilizing the cheats in your game. Do you really feel that the largest percentage of hackers in your game are for RMT? And if you believe that, show me the data that says you are removing them from the game with this change. We started at X number of hackers that we know about, because they know about them. They have an idea of what they're doing. Nikita's even said we don't ban them right away so we can watch what they do.
Yeah.
And show me how many you think you have when after 3 or 4 weeks from now. And if that number drops by 50%, I will gladly accept the change that you made. Gladly accept it, because to me, I am more pissed off about cheaters in the game than I am about trying to work around a weird mechanic of I can't drop it to it. If it truly removes them, I will be all for it. But in all honesty, I don't believe it's going to remove them. I believe they put a Band-Aid on a freaking gushing wound, and they knew this would deal with it real quickly for some other gain that we don't know about. So something made them want to do this all of a sudden, and Nikita might just be like, you know what, I really hate people making money off of my game, and I want them out.
Yeah.
Well, does that mean you're going to continue to be like, you know what, streamers, I don't like it, you're making money off my game, so you're out. No one's streaming my game anymore. Now, that's drastic. He's not going to do that because we bring people to the game. But I want the transparency of the numbers. Show me it works.
I don't know. We just started playing games in the last year together. Got connected through our podcasting networks. And everyone always says, oh, they're not transparent. They're not transparent. They're not transparent. They're not transparent. I mean, every game I play, it's the same conversation. Based on some of the games I've played over the last 4 or 5 years, they're a hell of a lot more transparent than some of these other studios. So, aside from people, just developers being literally just opening up their entire life and daily schedule and letting the community micromanage them. I don't know how much more transparent people want.
That's not true, because they don't even allow you to see how many people are on servers. That's not true at all.
I'm just saying that they do communicate more.
No, they don't. They don't when it comes to back-end development things, because I've looked at that. Call of Duty, you can actually go to the Call of Duty. Now, it's not their main board, but they have one out there of their dev board that will show you where they are in the process of working out different issues in the game. Is it always up to date? No.
Yeah, but you're comparing to the number one AAA studio in the world.
The number one AAA studio can do it, the tiny studio building this game can do it. It's easier to be transparent the smaller you are. You have less moving things, and you have less.
I would disagree a little bit on the fact that you have to pay someone to be that position.
No, you're doing it anyway. You're doing all of that work anyway. You're just exposing it for people to be able to see it. There's more red tape in the larger companies of what you can and cannot say. And you have to go through more people and loopholes than what you would have to do in a small studio. I have worked for a 50-person company, and I work for a 1.1 million person company now. There is more loops to go through the 1.1 million to talk about any development work I've ever done than the 25-person company where I can go talk to the CEO. There's a completely different world that you're playing in. But if you're going to tell me, now I'm pissed off at Call of Duty's Ricochet transparency. I'll give you that. They are giving you none there. And it's all around the anti-cheat. Why? Why are we so worried about telling people, like, we think we have 24% cheaters in the game, and this implementation brought it down by this amount.
Everyone's theory is that the games make more money off their cheaters than they make off of normal players.
And if that's the real truth, and that's why they won't give you any of the things, then why implement this change anyway? Why put it in the game if it's true?
But why not just go back to the fact that it seems pretty clear we're getting close to a wipe. Why not just play it out for a week or two? See how it goes. Give them an opportunity to look at their streamers.
Why am I going to give you an opportunity for a stupid change?
Are their streamers losing community play because of it? Wait, I don't know. Have you?
So
I haven't. That's one person that watches me.
Yeah. No? So you were not really a good test case for that.
No, I know. But my point is like, just if this is a month into it and it's the same and it's still pissing everyone off, I get it. It's been a day. No, it's been 24 hours.
But see, it's been longer than 24 hours.
My bad. 30 hours.
There you go.
Sorry.
But
if you're watching this on Sunday, we're recording Thursday. So, like I said, can't you just wait to the end of the week?
But this is the same thing you say about every single change they make in every single game. So that's your just stance. It's like, whoa. Let's just wait. Let's not voice our opinions until we give it some more time to see that.
But maybe have justifiable opinions instead of just throwing out.
I think there were people that were extreme, and I throw them out. I throw away your extremes.
So you're out.
No, I don't think I'm an extreme. I'm one that says it's here. Show me the data that it's working.
You were extreme initially.
Yeah.
I mean, you want data. You're like, I want to see your books.
Show me how it's actually working.
Like you've got invested. Like you're an investor. Like you should be on the investor call.
I paid you dollars out of my wallet to develop your game. I pay you with my dollar. I have done that. I have invested into your game.
You think that we should get access to everything that they're doing?
No, you are not listening at that point. You're going to say, oh, everything they're doing. Well, yeah, financials would be interested. Are they publicly traded? No. So no, I don't have the ability to do that. If they were a publicly traded company, you're fucking damn right that I would want access to their books, and I would want to be on their calls and their reports and see what they're doing financially because I invested in their company. But they are a private company, and the way I'm helping them is by buying my subscription. And I bought into that. I
wouldn't say it's a subscription.
Buying my game. Okay. The $100 and some odd that I put into your game. And then I'm giving you my feedback. And my feedback to you is, I can't really understand your change because I feel like it's hurting the community that you want to grow. And you say you want more community events. You want to bring people together. You want to do all of this stuff. Nikita says it from his own mouth. But you implemented this change that seems like it might hurt that. But you're telling me it's going to fix my cheater issue, which I really don't like. Can you show to me that it actually made a change? Because honestly, it doesn't feel like it's making a change to me. I died to the same amount of cheaters that I did before, but I don't think it's had time to work yet. So I will hold off on that and give you 3 weeks of data if you can prove to me it worked.
It's just a pipe dream. I mean, is any game coming out and telling you something's worked, that their anti-cheat strategy has worked? Is there a game doing that that's popular? I don't care about this mom and pop game off to the side.
I've only looked into 2 games there that closely where I've cared about it. Because all the other games, I've never had a super issue with it. So as we move forward into these games, we have more of an issue. But it's like I'm not going to take you by your word. I would like you to actually prove to me that this is what's going on. And if that's too much for you to be able to do and you don't want to do that, that's fine. But I don't honestly believe the change helped anything.
I mean, the type of change that they did is not something you're going to see instantaneously, are you?
Sure it will. I can go, honestly, I already did this. I have bookmarked 7 different sites that do RMT trading for Tarkov. If those sites go down in the next 3 weeks, they made a change and it worked. If they disappear, then the change worked.
Well, look, okay.
And then I'll be like, oh, that's interesting.
How many more players, what percentage of the player base do you think is someone like me? Before you explained the whole real money trading thing to me yesterday, you think I'm one of 3% people that don't care about this?
No, 0.3% that play the game like you. That want the glutton for punishment all the time.
That didn't even know that the real money trading was affecting the game.
Oh, I would say probably half of your player base didn't really know that's why the hackers were in the game. I'd say about that.
Okay, so that's a lot of players.
But I don't know why that has...
why this...
Okay, so there's a lot of players that now don't understand why they can't drop things on the ground anymore without them being deleted. Yeah. So they're really pissed off. They're like, I could do this yesterday, but now I can't. Like, the people that understand it, like me, are the ones that should be backing this and saying, hey, okay, this is a good idea, but I don't actually think it's a good idea. And the other reason why, and there's one other reason why I don't think it's a good idea. People that make money off of your game, these real money traders, are freaking smart. They're not going to just let their business die because you won't let them drop something on the fucking ground. Okay? So here's what's going to happen.
You think it increases the hacker?
It increases your hacker problem in a different way. So what's going to happen is these guys could go in solo in the middle of the night and different times and different raids and wipe it where they're not going to get detected because not many people are playing. So you know what they're going to have to do now? They're going to have to carry people through them. They're going to have to actually go into the raid with them and wipe prime time raids to sell stuff to people. So when this was actually happening, you know what map you had this mostly on? Labs. Reserve. Those were the 2 maps that happened on the most. Reason being is the Labs and Reserve maps have higher spawn rates for the top tier items on them. You can look it up in Tarkov changes. They have higher rates. That's what they are running. So you know what these guys are going to end up doing? They're going to branch out to all the other maps and they're going to start carrying people through them rather than stockpiling the stuff that they need by themselves. So you're going to go into a raid that's going to end up being like, they're going to go into Labs and they're going to be like, shit, everyone in here is a fucking hacker. I can't get out of it. Now I'm going to go to customs. Now I'm going to go to Shoreline. Now I'm going to go to everywhere else across it and start wiping those. It's going to make the problem worse.
Yeah, I got
not
you.
better. That's why it's a Band-Aid on a gushing wound.
I mean, I agree with you there. If this whole thing is just to combat hackers, I think it's pretty stupid. Like it doesn't make sense. But again, I'm new to the game. I am personally willing to
So which is
sit
why
back and wait.
which is why my defense is show me the money, baby. Show me that it worked.
Calm down, Cuba.
I'm just saying, show me that it worked. Show me you were able to.
But what I mean, you got to give them time to even not give them the opportunity.
Absolutely. And that's why I said when I first looked at it, I was like super heated, like, oh, this is stupid, this is crazy. I'll actually read one of the quotes from Logical Solutions to kind of get. I'm at a loss for words on this change. I never imagined they'd do something this stupid. This is literally the worst anti-RMT feature I have ever seen. Like that is from one of the top guys that look at this game. Hundreds of thousands of people.
Look at I mean, you're still pretty heated, and here's how I would say. I would definitely say I represent more of the casual player that I didn't even know the whole RMT thing was a thing until you talked about it.
Well, I came from World of Warcraft where it's rampant
but
as hell.
I'm saying if a couple weeks go by and it's a bad experience, I'm the type of player that's going to lose their absolute mind. So I think I'm going to be a good judge of, like, a good representation of how does it feel to be this type of player 2 weeks from now, 3 weeks from now. Do I feel like hackers are running rampant? Is it turning into Warzone to me all of a sudden? I mean, that's why I left Warzone. I'm 41. I'm already struggling enough to keep up with some of these young people. I don't need some guy 360 aimbot me from across the map just because he presses the button.
Well, that was the 8-year-old from China that did that.
Yeah,
he wasn't hacking.
Stop it. So, but my point is that I like Tarkov because, yes, do I think I've been killed by some hackers since we've been playing? For sure. Do I think that it's ruined my experience of the game? Not even close compared to what Battlefield has over the years, Call of Duty has over the years, Halo at certain times.
But again, what you're looking at,
but we'll see.
The difference there, though, the difference in those games is that those hackers are actually their player base that wants wins. There's no money.
No, I understand.
Trade here.
Yeah, I understand.
So here it's a money trade thing, which makes it a whole lot more difficult to stop it because there's just a lot of money on the line. I mean, gold farming in World of Warcraft was a $1 million business for some of these gold farming businesses out there, and World of Warcraft did the worst thing they could possibly do in order to combat it. They sell their own coin now. So they sell you your own gold to your own people and destroyed their own economy. Like, one of the biggest reasons why I'm not playing every day is because of that. So I want to make sure that a game that I do enjoy and one that I want to play for many, many years doesn't start destroying their game and by putting in changes that make it unplayable for the community as a whole to fight a couple percent of the problem.
And I agree.
And if they're going to go that route, me being me, I just asked to say, like, prove it to me that this actually worked. And if you can show me that the hackers went down, and that could be as simple as we just feel like we never get killed by hackers anymore. Like, that could be proof. I'll keep playing. And if all of a sudden it's like, you know what? I don't think I've been killed by a hacker in a while. Okay, it might be working. Like, this could be good. And that's fine. I don't expect everyone to open everything up, but if you're going on to the SCAV Report podcast, I'm going to tell you what I want them to do. I don't think anyone's listening. I don't think I got the influence for them to make a change. I can't just tweet Nikita and he's going to respond to me like some guys.
I mean, maybe he will. Try it.
It could. But I want the game to go in the right direction, so I am going to voice my opinion. But I agree with you 100%. I did not tweet anything out about it. I did not come on here and talk about it until a couple days had passed. And I'm kind of still at the same spot I was at before, but we kind of have to give it time. We do have to give it a couple of days, 2, 3, 4, 5 days. Let's see how it feels. And then, a week later, 2 weeks later, do I feel like I'm getting killed by hackers? Did this make a change? How often am I trying to drop something to somebody that I can't do it? Like, really track that and feel how, and that's our responsibility as a community. Track it. Tell them, hey, 16 times I tried to drop something to my buddy, it would have made the community better. Or, hey, I wanted to give a giveaway, I couldn't be able to do that. Give me a way of doing it. Is there a way I can confirm myself as not a hacker through your system? And, I have, it's multi-factor authentication I have to go through, or some other way that we can do this to confirm I am a human. Like, give me a CAPTCHA in the middle of the game and I got to click all the little fire hydrants before I die. And then I can drop something on the ground. You want some stupid ideas? I can give you stupid ideas. Let's try them out now.
And I can't with you.
And at the end of the day, it's a beta, so who cares?
How do I mute myself?
I can mute you. I can click the button.
God.
I think we've gone on enough. James is tired. He's an old man.
No, you just get you're putting out in the universe ideas. I just don't like. I swear on my life, if 5 months from now I'm clicking on stupid ass CAPTCHAs in the middle of a game, I'm trying to drop you a key, I'm gonna lose my mind.
Hey, you already have to do that in the flea market if you're trying to buy stuff too fast.
That's out of the raid. I don't want to be shot because I didn't click on one of the dumbass crosswalks.
If that's implemented, I want my cut. That was intellectual property of the SCAV Report Last Choice Network. We need our cut from that, okay? If these ideas get implemented, come on. I'm an idea guy. You throw shit at a wall and see what sticks. I don't think
anybody that's actually like a real streamer that happens to come across our podcast and are listening to this right now, I am Ender_TV. Anytime he goes live, please just find ways to get into just stream snipe him, just nonstop, please. So
dude, if I could get like popular enough to get stream sniped, I'm happy about it. Like, come on now. People don't stream snipe the low end ones. I'm popular now. That's reading into my ego at that point. People are afraid of me now. Don't feed me. You'll
lose your mind.
Oh, but it'd be worth it. It'd be
you
good
would
content.
think it's funny for like at 10 minutes.
It'd be good content.
Then you'd be over it.
It'd be good content. All right, everybody. This has been the SCAV Report. James is tired of me talking, so I think we'll go ahead and end it here.
Isn't it a podcast?
Go ahead. Oh, is it what?
It's not just this. The SCAV Report's your news station.
SCAV Report Podcast. I'm sorry, I didn't add podcast at the end. Do you want to? I'll let you do the extra here. Where can they find us?
So they can find you at twitch.tv/IamEnder_TV. Correct?
You got it. Nailed it.
I am on Twitch as the 3J Gamer, and of course, we do have a number of other podcasts under the Last Choice Network umbrella. As you can say, we've got a Parents versus Gaming podcast, a horror podcast called Last Choice on the Left. They've got a anime podcast called Kenichi Iha. The SCAV Report news is under there. The SCAV Report podcast is under there. We do some game shows. A lot of community-based things that we're trying to build, so we would love anyone that's watching this to join us. You can find us on the YouTube channel, The Last Choice Network, or each show has its own YouTube channel as well. Plus, we do have lastchoicenetwork.com if you want to check us out there.
Thank you, everybody. This has been the SCAV Report Podcast. We are out.
Deuces.